final day, the final game of what's been an amazing week of basketball here at Belconnen Stadium and the AIS in Canberra, Australia. The gold medal game for the Under-18 Men's Australian Championship. Vic Metro, a state and an area that's been dominant in this Australian Junior Championship area for many years. Defending title holders taking on a New South Wales country team that was successful. A number of the members of this team were successful in the Under-16 Championships last year. And we're fortunate tonight to be joined by the Boomers head coach, Andre Lamanis, who's also the head coach of the Australian Centre of Excellence, and the leader of the men's program that many of these young men will be aspiring to. Good evening, Andre.
Good evening.
Okay, both teams out on the floor. They're pretty much using the starting lineups they did during the week. For Vic Metro, it's Vasiljevic in 4, Bynes in 6, Abby Akintola in 10, Matthew Owies, nominal point guard in 11, and Tom Wilson in 12. New South Wales country with Sean Cranney, Jaden Hodson, Oliver Rebillard, White Noy is about to jump in 10, and Matthew Kenyon. We're underway. Vic Metro, in case you don't know, in the navy blue strip, New South Wales country in the white. Rebillard guarding Bynes on the wing. He looks to go middle. Rebillard gets in front. Vasiljevic wide open for 3. That's short. Rebound not controlled. Akintola with the hustle play.
So just leaving DJ open wasn't part of the scouting report, but interesting, New South Wales country doing a lot of switching early.
Akintola blocked. Noy, he stays with it. First points.
Again, stock standard defense here from Vic Metro, not burning up the floor, just packing it in.
Noy cut off, spins, cuts off. Akintola the board. He pushes Vasiljevic. Bynes, skip past Wilson, the left corner. Akintola on the block. Tries to step through. Noy stays with him. Kenyon the rebound. And a foul. The first of the game, Jack Bynes. Cranney down the left wing. Uses the pick from Noy. Forces up an awkward falling shot. Owies the board. Vasiljevic finds the baseline lane.
Good job early, Vic Metro, of going at the rim, putting pressure on the rim, forcing New South Wales country they have to defend.
Akintola the hedge on that screen from Noy. Rebillard the handoff. Cranney penetrates. Uses the contact to create an angle for the shot.
He was great in the semi-final yesterday down the stretch of getting some key baskets by doing exactly that, penetrating and find his way to the rim.
There's a certain fearlessness, isn't there?
Absolutely. And you need that in big games. People who are prepared to take the game by the scruff of the neck.
Bynes fumbles that one. The referee's identified a foot violation. Full FIBA rules here for anybody watching overseas. 4 quarters, 10 minutes, 5 fouls a player. The bonus, 2 shots is enforced after 5 fouls by any team in a quarter. Bynes for 3. Shot fake. Akintola the block.
Nice pass.
That's short. Rebillard the rebound.
And that's another key from the game that they played during the rounds was Victoria really stayed alive by offensive rebounds. So that's one of the keys for New South Wales country tonight is to keep them off the glass.
Hodson. Kenyon shot fake. Noy in rhythm, but well short.
He's been good during the week. Quite showed that he can hit that jump shot.
Owies was cut off.
The half-court press you mentioned before the telecast having its effect there, and again, just being disruptive, not letting Vic Metro get in a rhythm.
Rebillard backs it out. Cranney calls the play, the wing swing. Hodson elevates, hits.
Hodgson's been outstanding all week. He's really developed. I saw him in late last year when he came in for a tryout for Centre of Excellence, and he's really kicked on since then. He's had a very impressive week.
His communication skills have been outstanding.
Yeah, great leader. ability to get to the rim, make plays, score when his team needs it, and he's just a great kid, works hard and loves the game.
That personal foul is assessed on Hodgson. That's his first. If you're watching the inset scoreboard, you see the numbers in green indicate the team fouls each quarter. Both sitting on 1 at the moment. Ball's reversed, Owies. Wilson goes against the screen.
Nice move.
Elevates.
That's what one of the skills that Wilson brings, like just off the dribble, he's got a nice hesitation, good change of pace, allows him to beat his defender.
Cranney, fearless. Matt Owies with his first personal. Already the game's got a good rhythm to it, up and down.
It does, and interestingly, no real 5 men in the game for either team. Both teams going small. It's one of the things that, from a national perspective, we need to be aware of and ensure that we're doing a good job out there of getting our bigger kids in the game and keeping them in the game. So if there's any big kids, anyone, you know, you're sitting there, you're over 6'6" at home watching this, get involved, please. We want you.
If you want to contact us on Twitter, it's hashtag AJC. We'll pass the message on. Beautiful cut, Rebellion.
Really nice offense. It's amazing how often that cut executed well gets you a cheap basket, just as it did there. And
the timing of the cut and the awareness from the passer, from Noy that time.
Second foul there for Bonzi.
Yep. He'll come out.
Now from New South Wales country, changing up, good idea. Good job getting it out of Owies' hands here. And Owies hurt him.
Cranney back in as Yazis Akamamoy in 11 for New South Wales country. Back cut Wilson.
Seen that all week from Vic Metro. That would be one of those scouting things that you'd think would drive the coaches crazy.
Cranney was almost there, but he did a good job not to draw the blocking foul, considering he was inside the circle. Glover for 3. Little long. Owies the board, sprints down the floor.
Great push. Great push of the ball, and that's one of the keys in defensive transition. You've got to get the ball stopped. Sometimes easier said than done. Owies did a good job of just getting that thing up the floor.
He's been impressive this week, Owies. He's come from a non-starting position to starting.
Yeah, he has. He's done a good job on a team that's been very successful.
Standard baseline out of bounds play there. Laminato in the post there, draws a double back to Owies. His 3's a little long. Akamamoy does what's not always the recommended thing.
At least he threw it high.
Okay, we now have a timeout. Vic Metro as Jacob Cornelison comes onto the floor. He'll be part of the lineup when they resume there.
Interesting to see what Coach Abdisevich comes out with after this timeout. It seems
hands which ring around those players. Belconnen, a facility that's showing its age a little bit, but it has been renovated nicely and it's been a suitable venue for these championships. Okay, Wilson to trigger the inbound now. D'Agostino, the ball probably a little outside his range, hooks a pass down on the wing to Cornelison, who's not surprisingly closely guarded after his shooting performance in the semi-final. Extra pass. D'Agostino finds Laminato, he finishes.
So Vic Metro coming out of that timeout, running a little bit cross screen to get it inside, get an inside look to their bigs and got the post-to-post pass action. Nice play coming out of the timeout.
I'm just looking at the New South Wales lineup on the floor. Nominally at the moment, there is no 5-man, really, is there?
No, absolutely, and it's something that they certainly had issues with in the semi-finals as well. They got in some foul trouble and some injury concerns, and that was a great matchup because Vic Country had 2 bigs, and it was the bigs versus the guards show, and it was a great contest to see who would come out on top in a 1-point ball game.
Akamamoy there with the athletic move to the rim. Half-court pressure again. Just a moment's concern there. The shot clock now ticks down below 14. Owies finally gets him into something. Laminato sets a second screen, rolls to the rim. D'Agostino at the high-low. Laminato again. Wilson can't finish.
Obviously, So obviously after that timeout, there's a focus from Vic Metro to come out and utilise their bigs and go out to the New South Wales not so bigs.
Not so bigs. Very tactfully put. As Glover runs dribble entry right wing, avoids or doesn't use Scott's screen. Extra pass Lancaster, Cranney in the corner, that's long. Clever tip from Scott, but he's assessed to have fouled. He's been fantastic to watch this week. He's really not built to be a 4 or 5 man. Ball screens.
Yeah, played above his size, that's for sure. I want to, here we see the half-court press again. We have seen it generate a couple of turnovers, but this is part of disruption. Just slowing Vic Metro down, eat some time off the shot clock and put them under pressure to deliver late, as they do there.
Wilson, the beautiful finish. Penny up to the pass on the back cut.
Second time we've seen that back cut from Wilson tonight.
Ellison guarding Cranney on the ball. Glover goes baseline, cut off. Finds Lancaster in the corner. He launches a runner which is a mile long. Penny out to the rebound. Owies is away. Wilson right corner. Tries to step through. Draws some contact.
Vic Metro has done a good job in the last 2 minutes after that timeout from Coach Abdisevich of getting to the rim, putting pressure on the basket. They went big to big, they got an and one, they've had a back cut layup. Now again, Tommy 2 feet in the paint, putting pressure on the rim, has got fouled, and that's enabled them to get this little lead here right before quarter time.
Yeah, as you say, a clear change in strategy post that timeout.
That's the beautiful thing about basketball. It's the chess game. What does New South Wales country do now? How do they counter that?
We're looking at really last 2.5 minutes they've failed to score.
Yep.
They had the last shot of the quarter here now, should they choose. Looks like they will. Shot clock is off. Glover, probes, Akamamoy. Contact, no call. Lancaster launches a short. So after 1 quarter, it's Vic Metro 23, New South Wales Country 16. Okay. Just having a quick look at statistics here, probably no surprises. Victoria with a dominance already, early stages albeit, 11 rebounds to 5. A couple more field goal attempts, and I'm thinking those 5 3-point attempts, we saw most of those in the first part of the quarter there.
Yes, and interestingly, like Vic Metro shooting at 53% from the field, and New South Wales Country shooting at 31% from the field.
And that's really been one of the marks of their play this week, is efficient. New South Wales Country, that is, they've been efficient from the perimeter, efficient from mid-range, getting to the rim.
Absolutely.
Guard-oriented style.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, we're underway again. Owies with the ball, defended by Cranney. High screen Paniatu, he rolls to the rim. Owies still with the dribble. Paniatu, shot fake, high arcing release there. It's good.
Vic Metro really increased their scoring rate in the last 5 minutes of that first quarter, where they scored 15 points as opposed to 8 points in the first 5 minutes. So they're starting to free up and get to the rim.
Yeah, a clear change in the flow of the game as Quatnoy goes to the rim there and draws contact.
Vic Metro also had 3 offensive rebounds in the first quarter. Something that I know New South Wales Country would have addressed and perhaps been a little bit disappointed with.
It's a wayward looking free throw, the first. You've been impressed by this young man?
I've loved him. I didn't know that much about him, to be honest, coming into the tournament, but I think he's had an outstanding tournament. Has an exciting future, obviously good athlete, handles the ball well and can shoot from range. Like decent decision maker and passer, and as you see there, can be disruptive with his defense.
Yeah, fantastic. Relatively inexperienced in the game from what you've seen?
Yeah, but I think he's come a long way again from all the discussions I've had with Mark Watkins, who's the high performance coach with New South Wales. Says that he's really developed over the last 5 months and his progress has been rapid.
That's something we may not see a lot of. They went under that screen on Hodgson. He had no hesitation in launching the three.
Yeah, not a suggested strategy, I would imagine.
Paniatu on the right wing. Cornelison, he certainly can make that.
An offensive rebound for Vic Metro.
Oh, he's very clever there, tipping to Laminato.
Smart hit from Vic Metro as well, just getting re-established, not being rushed after the offensive rebound. Get yourself a layup. Beautiful.
Beautiful body control.
It's nice to see Darren do that. He's somebody who can certainly shoot the ball, and sometimes I think settles a little bit to the three-point look, and it's great to see him use his strength and athleticism to get to the rim.
Noy there, off the right block with a left-hand dribble. Extended hook. Laminato, the screen rolls. Cranney, something he's done all week. Beautiful pass to Glover.
We just read that, Cranney, didn't he? He obviously understands the shuffle offense and just picked off the pass.
Repeated, screened by Laminato, who rolls to the rim. Cranney again with a hand on that pass, destined for Owies. Laminato tries to step through. Paniatu had his shot rejected, but a foul identified earlier on Cranney.
That's something that obviously with the Sudanese community now coming through, they changed the game in their ring presence. Just, Noy there with his block shot. If anyone's seen Dang Gak play for New South Wales Metro, he's another one just with his presence around the rim. It just changes the way people attack, and they throw some stuff out of there, but they also change shots and make people miss.
It's certainly been a fantastic development, I know, in all areas of Australia. The incorporation of a sport that obviously the Sudanese portion of the migrant population are very keen on and suited to.
Absolutely, they're suited. They have fantastic body composition to be basketball players, and it's great to see them now starting to have their impact.
Yeah.
There's a couple of good kids sitting overseas. The Thon Maker, who's sitting over at high school. I got an opportunity to work him out when I went to the States. He's 7 foot and very exciting.
I watched him play in the Under-16 National Championships 3 years ago, guarding guys on the perimeter, and yeah, he's certainly an exciting prospect. Cranney again, incredibly into the steal.
Great hustle.
Beautifully controlled.
Nice pass. Can we see a replay? Do we have a replay?
The foul found on Cranney there.
Seems an unfortunate
sequence. That's his second personal foul. He'll come out.
Really unfortunate. He's just been having an impact in these last couple of minutes. He's changed the game and get called for his second foul on that. Unfortunate.
Most of his game changing has come at the defensive end.
Absolutely. Absolutely it has. Got a steal, deflection starting, fast break, dive on a loose ball, get another steal for your group. And that's the thing that people and players, young players in particular, need to appreciate. You can affect the game in different ways. It's not just scoring process and some of the tricks that are used in the recruiting process.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I was going to get around to that. I think that's been a selection he's almost universally admired, Adam Capewin, as a player. As a coach, when he was with Marty Clark, he's gone away, increased his experience and exposure, and I think everybody's been happy to see him back in the fold.
Here's a little win for us. We've got one coming back our way, which is fantastic.
All right, we're underway the second half.
Vic Metro starting in the zone here again in the third quarter, interestingly.
Yeah.
Obviously felt it worked for them in that second quarter.
Cranney spins, thinks shot, goes with the pass, it's turned over. D'Agostino starting interestingly for Vic Metro in place of Bynes. Akintola bobbles the ball on the wing, gets it under control, skips to Vasiljevic. Wilson shot fake, baseline drive. One of his favourite moves.
Tommy Wilson, the leading scorer for Vic Metro in that first half with 10 points, 4 of 10 shooting. Interestingly, the efficiency rating at 11 for the whole game.
Yeah, and you mentioned the rebounding, the 6 offensive rebounds for Vic Metro. A steady cumulative stat.
Yes, and as we spoke about halftime Brendan off there, it's one of those things that just builds pressure over the course of the game, wears you down, keeps giving Vic Metro extra possessions, and doesn't allow New South Wales country to keep building pressure.
Vic Metro still in the zone. Hodgson forced to launch three.
The one thing that the zone has done now is it's slowed New South Wales country attack. They're starting to fall in that trap that a lot of teams do against the zone. They're sort of a bit stagnant, one pass, maybe I'll shoot it, maybe I'll
We
get
need
it
to
on.
run our zone stuff.
Exactly. And the mindset changes.
Hodgson, retreat dribble.
There's another three ball. That one goes down. It's only the third one for New South Wales. They were 2 and 9 from the 3-point line at the half, and Vic Metro only 1 of 11 from the 3-point line at half time. What's our national shooting coach doing? maybe that's why we employed one.
Ball back to Owies. He tries for three. That clangs off the front iron. Wilson with the offensive board. Can't finish. D'Agostino, another offensive board.
There it is again. That's something we just mentioned. Those offensive boards, the way that Vic Metro just continue to keep their noses in front and not allow New South Wales country to feel pressure.
Kenyon, another three.
Back-to-back threes, get it back to 1 point.
They're remarkably efficient at getting into that half-court zone press.
Very good, very good. Obviously, done a lot of work on that leading into the tournament. It's also been interesting to see the teams get better over the course of the week. You know, they obviously find their rhythm and how they want to play. And
D'Agostino flips it up and in. Owies with the beautiful assist there. Kenyon forcing the other way. Noy blocked. D'Agostino. Rebellion looked to be fouled. Noy stays with the play. The ball will stay at that end. Hodgson loops around, gets the ball back from Noy. Thinks about the three. Skips. Cranney.
Good job.
Rebellion.
Good job.
His touch is good, yeah.
Great job.
As a charge.
Yep, and not selling for the three. Got down, split the defense, got his teammate a layup. Great job.
Straight back into that press. So many teams struggle to do that off a make. Wilson goes baseline. Skips deflected. Owies penetrates middle.
Nice.
Finds Akintola, who always finishes.
Doing a great job from Owies there, getting in the paint. Again, creating that assist, getting something for his teammate. It's one of those things that's interesting, like New South Wales country, you continues to stay in that same press as you mentioned, but Vic Metro again getting in the rhythm against that now. Perhaps you need a little change up. You just got to keep showing something different.
Rebellion foul. Noy, beautiful extra pass from the big man.
Yeah, he has shown the ability to make that extra pass too. Good, you know, sees the floor well, willing passer.
He's got a good sense of things. You see some inexperience, but he still has a sense of the rhythm of the game.
Yeah, and plays with a good poise. Doesn't get too flustered by things. It's great. Someone new to the game, still learning his craft.
You saw him at the end of the semi-final after making an error in the crunch time. He walked over to the bench and almost asked to be subbed out, and the coaching staff, including Tim Mallon, were up quickly and pushed him back onto the floor.
And that's the beauty of these championships, you know, it's going through those learning experiences, the pressure of it all, and this is what we're preparing our kids for, is to be great at World Championships, and this is exactly the format. You play day after day, there's pressure on, you get the quarterfinals, you suddenly have to win after you've been winning all week, it doesn't matter, and it's the wonderful thing that this tournament does is prepare our players by giving them those experiences.
As Kenyon answers Akintola's layup with a mid-range jumper. And the shift to the quarterfinal format, now that we truly replicate what's going on at World Championships, I think has been, just talking to people here this week, everybody's been impressed by that.
Yeah, I love it. It's been a fantastic addition. And you know, you look at the teams like the big countries who went 6-0, and then you're playing in the quarterfinal, and suddenly if you lose that, it's been a bad tournament, which is exactly what happens in the World Champs.
Rebellion the rebound there. Vic still showing zone. Wilson is all over that pass. Makes the layup.
Scoring certainly picked up here to open the second half. Both teams staying aggressive at the rim. New South Wales country have stuck a couple of threes, but good attack from both teams on the rim.
Cranney's shot fake. Gets in the lane. Optimistic against Akintola there.
Perhaps needed the kick out.
Owies puts it on the floor.
Nice
corner. Wilson, shot fake, one dribble jumper, long. Out control of the board. Hodson clever.
And I think that shot there from Wilson's a good example of like the style of play. There's something we want to get away from now. In that first 8 seconds of the shot clock, which we call our pace component, we want to encourage players to get to the rim, take layups, or kick out threes. So that pull-up jump shot there, even though you could say he's open, we would say from our national style of play, that's not what we're looking for. We'd encourage him to continue to go to the rim.
Huge breakdown there in that baseline out of bounds. Always managing to catch the ball unguarded in the paint. Lancaster's come onto the floor in 13 for New South Wales Country. He has the ball now, left wing. Noy faces up, tough jump. Makes it. Lands in the middle of the Tasmanian boys.
Tough shot.
Akintola never stopped.
What a great play. There we go.
Great
grand final game. Got on the line. We'd love to throw that in there. And by the way, you can represent your country at an Olympic Games. That's, you know,
pretty special.
Yeah, it is.
3 of those players about to head into the NBA playoffs as well. Patrick Mills, of course, has really become a star in San Antonio.
Absolutely.
Aaron Baines backing up at the 4 or 5 spot, and Andrew Bogut, of course, at Golden State.
Unfortunately, with that rib injury at the moment, coach. But yeah, Paddy Mills had a fantastic year and really grown as a player.
Akamamwe probably went where there was no space there, turned it over. Not what they would have been looking for out of the timeout. Vic Metro, nice. The staggered screen action. Wilson finishes.
And that's what you get out of the shuffle. You know, if you run it consistently and you run it with the right cuts, you get that sort of layup. I remember seeing Andrew Gaze get perhaps 1 or 2 of those over the course of his career.
Akamamwe again a little out of control. Vic Metro off and running. Wilson fouled and finishes with the left hand.
As happened during the rounds, Tommy Wilson had a little burst of 13 points in a row that was the separator and the ultimate difference in the game. Here he's had 4 in a row, he's about to get 5. This is a key moment here for New South Wales Country.
And we mentioned in the first half the power of the timeout, or the seeming power that Coach Abdusevich has now had 2 timeouts. Well, really there was nothing specific happening, and at both times it's cue to run.
Absolutely, and that's a great observation. Great observation and good coaching by Coach Abdusevich. Basketball is again one of those unique games where the coach can have so much influence. You're sitting courtside, you can stop the game with a timeout, you can talk to your players directly, make subs.
Nice overhead shot of that free throw from Tom Wilson, which pushes the margin out to 7. Is it a 1-2-2 zone or no, it's a man?
No, man to man.
Cornelison guarding Cranney.
Tough shot. Little no pass offense there from New South Wales Country, perhaps just showing the signs. A little bit of stress setting in.
Akintola spins. Cornelison turns his feet as he's wanted to do on his shot. Glover.
Little casual on that play, Glover.
Bryant's just overpowered him, really. Russell Potter's seen enough of this little run. He's called his own timeout.
And that is a good timeout.
They'll stop him.
No.
Like his old man.
Yes, Mr. Bouillet was a tough player, absolutely, in his day. I might have been the recipient of one of his elbows there along the way.
Surely not. There's a bad breakdown on the last baseline out of bounds. No such happening here. Bynes back to Owies. They'll set up a play. Clock ticks down towards a minute remaining. 3rd quarter, gold medal game. Australian Under-18 Men's Championships.
New South Wales Country continuing to go underneath that on-ball screen and daring Vic Metro to shoot, who had only stuck 2 3-pointers to that point of the game, so
still seemed like a good strategy till now.
Yes. Yeah, a little one-on-one play here from New South Wales Country. It's not how they've played all week.
Wilson can't finish. Bynes again. Fouled.
And we spoke about this at halftime about the depth of Vic Metro. They can keep coming at you. They can play at a constant pace, and New South Wales Country perhaps not having the luxury of that depth on their bench and getting worn down over the course of the game. You've seen again little signs here of New South Wales Country looking a little fatigued and tired and making some choices to go individually rather than collectively.
Part physical, part emotional, I'm sure that...
The other thing that's interesting, of course, in a situation like this, Vic Metro, by the nature of the junior competition that they play in there, you know, on a Friday night, most of these kids would have played a lot of games like this with, you know, a lot at stake, you know, tight games, every possession counts. Whereas perhaps New South Wales Country kids, what a great move there, they Cranney kicked to the rim, drawn and won. But perhaps some of New South Wales
just an I'm going to score player, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to take this by the scruff of the neck. Here we go, we need to score, let me take care of it for you.
But as you mentioned, Friday night's a cutthroat competition just to make the top division of the Victorian Championships. He's got something about him, Cranney, but doesn't he?
And again, he was big last night down the stretch for New South Wales Country after they had let Vic Country back into the game, having a 12-point lead, three-quarter time, and Vic Country tied it up, and Cranney made a couple of key plays down the stretch to give New South Wales Country the lead for ultimately good.
Kenyon trying to stay with Owie, something they've had extraordinary difficulty trying to do tonight.
Wilson, I think we've seen that before tonight, perhaps 2 or 3 times.
He's been a nightmare for them at the point, hasn't he?
He has. Always has done a great job of getting in the lane, but Wilson, again, with that back cut, great job setting his man up, understanding that New South Wales Country are up in the lanes and just taking advantage of that, the space that's created. Wilson's a nice player. Again, he attends the centre of excellence, and over the first 3 months has really been impressive with the way he's played from the one spot. He plays one spot with the centre of excellence. His understanding of the game, athleticism, ability to get others involved, and defensively, he can be a disruptive defender. Gets up, quick feet, has good length.
What about a player like Owie's, whose international profile, given the size?
Yeah, it's going to be hard for him. You know, it's one of those things. It's the reality of the sport. You know, he's obviously been impressive at this level, and he's just got to do what he does, and that's create for others, get in the lane, penetrate, and we've got a little
college system, high draft picks. It was an analytical side that somehow done a metric which worked out. They were the 2 hot spots internationally, so I guess that's a positive sign.
Absolutely. We are having more and more influence on the world stage.
All right, last quarter about to get underway. Exciting stuff. Hodgson looks to put that 3. Rebound tipped up by Cranney. Brendan Parnell with Andre Lamanis, Boomers head coach, calling the last quarter Australian under-18 men's gold medal game. New South Wales Country in the white, Victoria Metro in the blue.
New South Wales Country did have 5 offensive rebounds in that third quarter, but so did Vic Metro.
Wilson has it stolen. Hodgson, Euro step, and Lamp.
Great body control.
Probably Lamp's not doing it any service. Floating 6-foot swish.
Not that easy. A lot of time and effort and practice has gone into that.
Akintola in the middle of that press breaker. Kenyon guarding Akintola on the post now. Glover comes around trying to double. Coach Abdusevich trying to call that foul himself. Being told to calm down.
It's important now the coach doesn't get lost to the referees. Critical time of the game. Everyone sometimes feels a little bit hard done by, but you just got to move on. His team needs him right now.
Oh, he's long with that 3. Good box out of a billiard, but somehow Cornelison, a ping pong.
Late shot clock.
Blocking foul called.
Great recognition there by Tommy Wilson. The shot clock hadn't been reset. He only had 7 seconds, and again did a good job of not settling, which is again from a national perspective something we've spoken about in the last 8 seconds of the shot clock. Is not being panicked, seeing it as an opportunity to drive to the basket or get a post touch inside the paint, and perhaps create for a teammate.
We were talking about this the other day. Do you think sometimes the counting down from the bench, which always seems to accelerate faster than the clock, which inevitably starts at 10, can be counterproductive as opposed to productive in terms
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. It's one of those that just adds stress to the environment and leads to players making quick rush decisions and ultimately settling for a jump shot.
Wilson's good with both of those. Margin back to 9.
That gives Wilson 20 points for the game now, clearly the high scorer.
And he's done it in a myriad of ways. Cranney is a man on a mission. He's in the middle of the paint bodies, 1-on-4 penetration.
It's pretty clear his intent, isn't it? Let's see how that works out for him over the course of this last quarter. But you know, one of the things about Tommy Wilson's 20 points is it's come quite quietly. You know,
yeah, you
wouldn't have picked him to have 20 points, and that's a sign of a quality
player. A couple
player.
of back cuts, a perimeter shot.
Yeah.
Good from the foul line.
Something in transition.
Yeah.
Simple ways, keep scoring, keep the scoreboard ticking over. But to have a third of his team score is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Played all the 3 minutes of the contest. Variety of roles.
More even spread of scoring from New South Wales country.
That man Wilson crosses over. Tired attempt defensively from Cranney.
Again, as we've spoken about, just wearing down a little bit, like that's their third team foul now for this quarter. We're a minute and a half in. That's going to play its part as the quarter rolls on.
Kenyon comes to the bench. Quite annoying from New South Wales. Who guard Laminato? Oh, he's guarded by Glover. Paniato on the wing. Sidovic looks inside Wilson, trying to post up the smaller Glover. Sidovic launches a 3, it's long.
Coach Sidovic looks suitably unimpressed with that shot.
Brighton-Oy, power dribble in the middle.
Interestingly, New South Wales country, no movement when Cranney got that catch. We saw in the first half with that, you know, cut to the basket with a little pass, got the and one layup. Now perhaps fatigue starting to show. Movement's getting harder.
Hodgson denies the penetration. Vasiljevic short, up again, and stayed with that nicely.
Found a way.
Cranney calling for a ball screen in the wing, looking for any gap he can find. Flick pass out the back.
What's the way I feel New South Wales country here offensively? They're just not one pass, no pass offense, which is not how they've played all week.
Yeah. Fantastic offensive rebound there from the billiard nonetheless to keep that possession alive, and he's fouled. Interesting, Karabatsos coming on for his first minutes.
The interesting thing here with New South Wales country down by 9 with 7 minutes to play, and I know it doesn't feel like this, but guys who are in charge of analytics, which suggests New South Wales country have to do something special here. If you're down by more points than there are minutes left
remaining.
Yep, that's one of the formulas that they reckon is key. You got to up the defensive tempo. You got to perhaps shoot a few more threes. You got to do something special to win.
The question would be, do they have that? Given the apparent tightness, do they have that in them?
Yes, and that's the 4th foul now for the quarter. You're going to try to get that done with. Being in the bonus.
Once that gets to 5 fouls, that's automatic 2 free throws. Second time out, Russell Potter
played, now letting New South Wales country start to push a little bit, and Vic Metro are just, as they do, being clinical.
Yeah. So it'll be baseline ball with 14 seconds on the shot clock. Any reset situation. Wilson to trigger the inbound. Laminato cuts to the rim. Karabatsos. Pass, sets the screen. Cranney assessed with that foul, pushing through the screen. That's his 4th.
That'll be his 4th. Oh, no, his 3rd.
And that'll put them in the bonus. The referee seemed a little unaware.
Certainly some confusion out there, but that's going to be 2 shots.
I think the referee was presuming team control with this was a screening action, as we see Cranney asking the referee what was going on there.
And again, he's just showing he's lost his way a little bit here, arguing with the referee. He's got his 4th foul, as you mentioned, but perhaps this is the time to take him off and just let him settle and to the good of the group, get someone else in there who can perhaps offer them a little something different right now.
Noy battling for the rebound with Paniatu. Cranney now with the ball, inside to Noy. Jump looks good.
He went quick on that occasion. Still pretty stagnant off the ball, but Noy went quick, got himself to the rim. Man-to-man pressure, run and jump here from New South Wales Country, trying to speed up the game a little bit.
Hodgson under that screen. Wilson keeps his dribble alive. Skips Paniatu. Karabatzos looks a bit pressured. Can't get that to fall. Cranney forward, spills to Rebellion.
Great job, Cranney posting up. Give him the ball. There you go. Better cutting action off the ball.
Shot clock down to 12. Cranney somehow changed hands in midair.
Says Andre Romanos, take that suddenly out. I'll tell you what I got for you. One hand, one play. What do you know?
He's certainly got some of the will you just talked about before. Being
That's the beautiful thing about this game. There are no rights or wrongs, there's just opinion. I say that a lot when I go and do coaching courses around the country. Just because I'm the national coach doesn't mean I'm right. New South Wales Country, no offensive rebounders on that foul shot, but they get away with it.
Cranney swishes it.
5-point ball game.
Straight man-to-man here. Vasiljevic, quick three.
The shuffle step back was a classic Andrew Gaze cut that he ran with great effect over his very long career.
Once the defence starts presuming you're going somewhere.
Exactly. And again, big players stepping up at big times. So again, you want, in this situation, players who are prepared to shoot it. And Vasiljevic,
big time tip in from Noy off that 3-point miss from Glover.
Just doing enough to hang around now in New South Wales Country, finding a way.
Vasiljevic splits the double team.
Great job by Glover getting in there.
Foul.
Put pressure on the defence. Good job. Late last 5 minutes here. This is it. This is exciting.
Just when Coach Abdisevich thought he might be able to relax. No such luck.
That's always a fatal error for a coach. As soon as you feel like you're in a position you can relax, you know you're in trouble.
I was talking to John Hargraves during the week, who coached the under-16 boys, and he said he felt that was the mark of this group, that they were like a little dog. Once they got hold of your leg, you thought you'd shaken them off, and they wouldn't go away.
And they have done that, to be fair, during the week as well. They have been in situations where you felt like they perhaps were done and dusted, but they have always found a way to stay in the game. They keep playing hard and turn you over and do something. An offensive rebound, just find a way to hang around. And
here we are, back to 4 points. Little 1-2-2, zone pressure. Lemonado looking a little uncomfortable.
And of course, in this situation, it's key that Vic Metro keep trying to win, rather than protect the lead, which is sometimes a...
Wilson, three's good.
There he is again.
What do you want to say?
A quality player. And the big players, quality players want to step up at big times.
Rebellion holds the handoff, it's denied. Glover.
Wow.
Hodgson to answer. Lemonado the board. Tola down, Wilson composed. Vasiljevic thought about it for a second.
I think the coach Abdisevich yelling at him to settle down might have prevented him from shooting that one.
Shot clock ticks under 6.
Lazy play defensively there. You can't have those at this stage of the game. Not if you want to win.
No. As much as they've put that run back on, there still is apparent physical signs of fatigue from the guard tandem, or the guard trio, as we see Rebellion come off for Kenyon.
Kenyon, obviously a good athlete, and I'm sure Coach Potter's expecting him to generate something with some defense, get a deflection, disrupt, do something that perhaps forces a turnover.
I'm just looking, I think this is clearly the shortest rotation New South Wales Country have used all week. There's 3 players have played between them less than 10 minutes collectively. Scott, who's been a key part of most of their week, Akamamoy and Ding yet to hit the board.
Now that's an interesting observation. It's one of those things, you know, I guess it's quite NBA, they talk about shrinking rotations in playoff situations, but for me, New South Wales country has had success because, nice move there by North, but they've had success because they've played everybody all week and they've been able to keep a sustained pressure over the course of the game because they have played everybody, and perhaps going away from that has hurt them a little bit tonight.
It's almost a microcosm of the game, yeah. Owi's penetration, Wilson's back-cut layup.
Yep. And by contrast, Vic Metro has played everybody. You know, they've continued to use their bench, drawn deep. Are they going to call that goaltending or not?
I don't think it had a chance to go in. It'll be interesting to see now. Yeah, we saw early on in this last quarter their 10th player, actually, as we mentioned, came onto the floor. Karabatsos, who hadn't played in the first 3 quarters.
One of the things about talent is it's only good if you use it. You know, if you got depth, it's only going to be functional if you use it.
All of a sudden the margin skated out to 11, 3 minutes remaining. It's the gold medal game. Australian Men's Under-18 Championships. Tough move, great body control.
New South Wales country's going to need something special to win from here. You know, they're going to need Vic Metro to make a mistake. They're going to need to turn them over. If they just let them come, run down and execute their half-court sets, that's not going to get it done.
Akintola playing the feeder role there. Wilson comes around for handoff. Lemonado reverses. Akintola inside. He'll finish that.
Beautiful offense there from Vic Metro. Took some time off the clock. Good execution of their shuffle offense and ended up with a wide open layup.
Cranney long with that 3. Lemonado the rebound. Owi's.
The New South Wales country got to take some chances. That's exactly it. Go double the ball, shoot a gap behind it. There's no point playing solid here and losing by 5. You might as well try to win the game and lose by 20.
Victoria have done exactly what you'd expect from them. So composure. Vasiljevic knocks down a mid-range jumper off the screen.
And you suggest the life has gone out of New South Wales country here, so I just got a little too hard.
Probably for the first time all week, Cranney draws contact.
Coach Porter needs a time over here, and one last pass. Run and jump, take some chances, foul, do something to give yourself a chance.
That's Akintola's 5th foul. Probably not a huge problem given now we're down under 2 minutes. Bynes will come back into the game.
Yeah, another very efficient game there from Abby. Shot the ball at a high percentage, got offensive rebounds.
Finished nearly everything around the rim, as has been his trademark all week.
Absolutely. And he's an interesting one moving forward. You know, a lot of people, including me, have spoken about the need for him to move out to the perimeter, and when you see how effective he is inside.
I was going to ask about that. Do you move somebody just because you feel that they don't have the requisite height? You think of a Barkley and numerous examples of players who've been far shorter than the archetype for that position.
That's a great question. I'm one who was certainly, prior to this tournament, of that school of thought with Abby, but after seeing how effective he is, it's like, oh, perhaps you do let him just play in his position and see how far he can go in that position, because he's very good at it.
11.4.
Bynes on the right wing. Vasiljevic post up, might have travelled there. Wilson for 3. Bynes the rebound. He knows what he's supposed to do there. Just recycles possession.
Offensive rebounds have continued to haunt New South Wales country all night. Vic Metro doing a great job of taking the glass.
Wilson, clever fake. And